So, welcome to our Wednesday afternoon homebuyer seminar. We just for Wednesday at 5 p.m. with or without Patricia when we start, but here she is racing in at the end because she's so busy. She's all that in a bag of chips, listing property all over Southern California. I'm Bill Gross. I am a real estate broker here in Los
I'm
Angeles. I'm
trying
here
to
with my
connect.
colleague over there, the lender, Gustavo,
Gustavo Segura.
and our friend here who's trying to
Yes,
connect still,
Patricia Castillo. I'm
which
trying
translates
to
to
connect.
Patricia
I don't think I can
Castillo in
hear you
case
guys,
you're
but
a
I'll
gringo
work
like
on it
me.
on my end.
And here we are, home buyers. Since we last spoke, I closed a couple. One fell out of escrow where Gustavo was my colleague on it. I called Patricia to help me on a new listing, and she's too busy with her own business she's working on. Pretty busy time in real estate. What's going on, Patricia? Patricia?
Hmm.
She can't hear us. Okay. Gustavo, how about those rates?
Yeah, well, today was a great and today was an even better day. So we started out the week strong with rates coming down a little bit. Today we got new inflation reports that showed that inflation got to 3%. So just last year it was over 9%. And then more importantly, too, the core inflation numbers, which includes housing, they call that shelter in that came down from 5.3% to 4.8. So that was a big drop. They were expecting maybe 5%, but they came down to 4.8, which ultimately started a very good market for us here in the mortgage rate. So we got below 7% really quickly. And I'm looking at rates on the wholesale side, 6.5 or even lower, depending on the loan scenario.
So all year we've been bouncing between 6 and 7, and we get above 7 and come back down right away. Got above 7, came down right away. Then it got above 7 and stayed there all last week. And it's come down
Yeah.
and today closed at just under at 6.96. So
Yeah.
wild time in the rate. We're down below 7. And I don't know so much that 7 is a magic number as much as it takes out the fear of going over 7 to 8, 9, or 10. That's always the fear. It's not that 7.25 or 7.1 is so bad, but at 6.9, there are plenty of buyers ready to buy property. Gustavo?
Yeah, exactly. I think, I heard people saying, oh, these things going to go to 8. And, there's a long ways between 7 and 8. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen. But like you said, I think in everybody's mind, it's very easy to just say 8, 8%. Um, so I'm glad that we're under 7. Like I said, on my side, I'm looking at scenarios right now, 6.25, 6.5. So very, very much adding purchasing power to a lot of new buyers.
Great. Patricia, what do you see going on?
Yes, thank you. Sorry about my audio. I was having trouble connecting. I was actually, I love this workshop that we do every week. I think it really provides information to prospective buyers. And I just had the reason why I was late. I just had a meeting at a local coffee shop, just getting our whole new package signed, opening an escrow with the buyer. And, they were a little concerned because the interest rate just went up last week. And so at that point, it got locked in. But now that it changed just a little bit, they can float the rate down and still have that flexibility to adjust the rate. So even though you lock in a rate, let's say today or yesterday, and the rate happens to drop, even if it's just a little bit, but even if it goes down, you can still get that lower rate. So I think, so, one of the questions I had today was, well, I locked in my rate already. Am I going to get stuck with that higher rate? Well, no, if it's, within a certain amount, what is it, Gustavo, like a 0.5% or a percentage point, they can still float that rate down.
So it will depend by lender.
Mm-hmm.
They all have different guidelines on that, different
Guidelines. Yeah.
policy.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are very picky about it and saying, well, if the rate goes up and you locked it in, we don't come back and ask you for more, right? So it
Yeah.
works the other way. So, and some of them will, they'll say, you know what, it dropped big enough, it dropped a quarter or it dropped
Yeah.
half. We'll go ahead and negotiate something here where it makes sense for both of us. So definitely
Right.
lender specific.
Yeah. And in this case, they are more flexible. So I think it also depends on the relationship that the client has with that lender. So if it's like, a larger bank, they've been banking with them for a long time, they're probably going to be, a little bit more flexible in giving them that option. So as far as buyer activity, it's still pretty strong from my end. I have a couple of people that I know I've been talking with Gustavo about to get pre-qualified, looking at what their, what they look like as far as their financials with the soft pull. So we're not pulling the credit, but just looking at what the scenario looks like and giving them a pretty accurate estimate there on what they qualify for. I just opened an escrow yesterday for a land sale in Los Angeles. And, like I said, it's pretty busy. I'm out here in West Covina right now, getting some other documents signed. So still very, very high demand from what I could see. And I don't see it dying down anytime soon.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have a deal with Gustavo. Unfortunately, we didn't get him in at the beginning. The customer had their own lender, and he got and my seller. It's a complicated case. It was a tenant living in a property, and the seller wanted to kind of extend a bit courtesy because he was getting his loan from. I don't want to disparage any company, so I don't want to say the name Bank of America. That when you walk in the branch, you're not going to get service at those big companies. Again, I don't want to say the name Bank of America. And so he got pre-approved, and here we are. He didn't qualify, and it was stupid. They have a program where they advance the money. It's basically a credit card that they overlook if they do the loan, but they couldn't do the loan because they couldn't communicate with the customer effectively, get them to do the paperwork.
Right.
Gustavo steps in, and unfortunately, it was too far gone to correct the mistake. And had he met, I spoke with Gustavo before this call and said, had he met him beforehand, easily we would have done this deal.
Right.
Easily. And this is the buyer who lives in the property, would have loved to bought it, and it would be a good deal for him. And it's all because he didn't plan. So when we tell you guys, you got to plan ahead, and it's like anything else in life. You want to be successful, you got to put the time in and the effort in. It makes all the difference in the world, particularly in the financing these days. And there's properties to be sold. And by the way, I got another offer, same price, and they're seeing the property tomorrow, and they'll probably go into escrow. There's buyers lined up. This one's working with, unfortunately, a different realtor, but with a really good lender. So tough.
Yeah, you definitely have to have all of your ducks lined up and not wait until the last minute, because these properties are going into escrow so fast. And right now it's we're in a low inventory market. Even though the rates are what they are, prices are still holding steady. So I haven't really seen any price reductions, but I have seen multiple offers. And on this last deal, there was almost 13 offers. And my client that I just met with, they don't really use technology, and that's fine. Not everybody does, but it's really working with somebody that's going to take the time to, sit with them, explain everything. We went over the inspection report. 2 hours of going over escrow instructions, disclosures, documents, and just making sure everything is lined up, because you don't only have to be prepared before you start looking out for homes, but once you're in escrow, things start moving really fast. And so you want to make sure that you have all of the information provided, to your client as soon as possible. So everything's on a time limit once you open escrow.
You got to move fast. People want to get paid, and people want to get moved, and people want the house, and time is money. There's nothing good that happens after the escrow opens. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So if anybody out there is looking at buying a home, don't get discouraged. There's closings that are happening every day, and you could be the next one, but it's about being prepared and getting your financials looked at, and we can help you with that.
There's closings happening every day. I assure you. I had 2 last week, so that's just the nature of the business right now. It's a great market, a great opportunity to be in the business. Okay, so Gustavo, what's your words of wisdom for buyers today?
Well, like you said, the rates are doing really well, and it's about getting that pre-approval to see how much you can buy, right? Tomorrow, there's another report that comes out. It's basically an inflation report, but on the wholesale side of the business here. So if that looks like it's going to also come out very positive, then this could be the beginning of some good trends of the rates coming down a little bit by little bit, but more and more each month as we go into the summer. Ultimately, we are expecting that, but don't get so caught up on the rate. Get your pre-approval. Make sure you talk to an agent like Patricia. You know what you're buying, what you're looking for, because as she just mentioned, if you're overbidding, sometimes it's okay to overbid. I have a tool that can help people take a look at that and say, yes, you're overbidding by $10,000-$15,000, but this property will be what in 5 years, right? We have evaluation tools. You'll be able to recover that very quickly, plus additional equity. And $10,000-$15,000 a payment, it may be $100. So don't be afraid of that. But of course, the more information you have, the better the decision will be. So definitely reach out.
Very nice. Patricia, last words you want to say for the week?
Yes, I just want to say, as we mentioned, get started, even if it's just looking at what you could qualify for. There's no cost in that. It's free. And, it could be the next step to your home ownership. So, your home ownership goals. So let's get started. We're happy to help you. And the other thing is be patient. In this market, you may not get the first house you're looking at, but there will be another opportunity. So, it's having patience and just having an open mind.
Fantastic. And I can't, agree more with what they said. You got to prepare, got to be patient, get a plan together, work your plan, work with really good people. I just closed a deal last week where the buyer's agent was fantastic. And she brought in a great loan officer, almost as good as Gustavo. The agent was almost as good as Patricia. And they got the deal with multiple offers. They got the deal because the agent was better than the other agents. They packaged the buyer up. They got everything planned ahead of time. We had a game plan. We worked the game plan. We got it done. So call us. We're glad to help you. Call Patricia. Call Gustavo. Patricia. I was trying to go to Patricia. My tongue said, no, I'm just too tired. It's the end of the day.
Right.
I can't roll that R. No rolled R's. I'm a gringo. That's just not going to work. Patricia, and then I looked and noticed your phone number was not up on the screen like Gustavo's is. Gustavo's like all high tech now. Remember he started?
I know.
He didn't have that. Now he's all high tech. He's sending me bonbon videos. He's like a whole high tech master.
That's right.
Yeah. If you're watching this on our social media on YouTube or Facebook, I don't see any comments today, but if you do afterwards, you're watching this recording, put a question or comment there, and Patricia or I will get back to you or as appropriate. So that's it for now. We'll see you guys next week at 5 p.m. next week.
Yes.
Once a month, we have to move to 4 p.m. to accommodate my business. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.
Okay. Bye-bye.